Hello, and welcome back to Movies Recapped. Today I will be showing you an amazing movie named Bruce Almighty. The movie begins with Bruce Nolan being instructed to wear a hairnet cap as they prepare to roll the camera, even though he feels that his hair is just fine and doesn't need one. He is explained to that if he will be working around the largest cookie, interviewing the creator, he has to wear one. He finally agrees and whispers to himself, asking God why he hates him as the camera starts to roll. He begins by introducing the owners of the bakery, one that belongs to the family, and even interviews them about the reason they decided to make such a big cookie. Bruce does not do live presentations but records, and people love his goofy act. Nolan goes home that evening to his wife Grace. As she tries to make a photo album, Bruce shows her the recording of him talking about a cookie, a job description he does not like. He feels that he should be a television anchor. His wife tries to comfort him, telling him that there is nothing wrong with making people laugh. Bruce is frustrated with his job as he was stuck covering seemingly trivial stories and perceives that the world is against him. He constantly feels overshadowed by his rival, Evan Baxter, who is a more successful and seemingly luckier reporter. Grace tries to make him help with the photo album when he finds a photo of them at the lake, which was supposed to be in the private area, and they playfully start trying to steal it away from each other. The next morning, the alarm goes off early, and Grace kisses Bruce as she gets out of bed. She wakes Nolan by taking his blanket off, but Bruce throws himself all over, not interested in waking up. Bruce grooms himself when the dog starts to pee inside the house, and he runs to take it outside since Grace is taking a shower. Bruce drives and drops Grace off at her workplace at a daycare where they are having a blood donation day. Before leaving, Grace gives Nolan a wristband she received from the children for good luck. He wishes that it will really work, as she says, thinking it will take a miracle to get to work on time as he is really late. Unfortunately, Bruce is stuck in traffic and starts talking to himself as he passes the time. He finally arrives at work and enters as the meeting is about to finish. Evan jokes with him about his cookie recording, and he returns the jokes using music that Baxter likes. Bruce is infuriated that Evan gets the anchor position and not him. He tries to talk to his boss, stating that he deserves better than being goofy, and his boss tells him that he will be covering live news that evening together with Evan at the studio and him in the field. He accepts the offer as he feels that it is better than what he currently does. He is excited about going live and calls his wife Grace while at the site. As they head over to the boat that is supposed to take them close to the falls, he is given instructions on what to wear to protect his hair from the water and a person he was supposed to interview about the falls. As soon as Susan and Evan introduce the news to the viewers, they connect over to Bruce, who freezes. Everyone tries to signal and even tell him to start speaking, but he remains smiling and frozen. As soon as he starts to speak, everyone thinks that it is all over, but he then continues to make matters worse by speaking ill of the channel, employers, and even insulting them. His anger and frustrations cause him to lose his job and get thrown out. As he walks to his car, he sees a homeless man who is always outside his channel's offices being mistreated by some street boys. He tries to help him, and as soon as he tells them to walk away, they chase and beat him up, even cracking one of his car's windows. He gets home and gets mad at God for ignoring him and busy giving Evan whatever he desires. Nolan even thinks that he is living a mediocre life, which upsets his wife, making her feel sad and sorry for Bruce. After a back-and-forth argument with his life, he leaves and takes his car for a drive, and while holding the bracelet given by Grace, he asks God for a sign. A lorry carrying stop signs and end-of-the-road signs passes by, but he doesn't take note of it. He drops the bracelet, and while trying to pick it up, he crashes into a signpost, destroying his car bumper. He gets out of the car and throws his bracelet into the water, blaspheming God and calling for him to smite him. His phone rings from a strange number, but he doesn't pick it up. Bruce is awakened again by the same number ringing on his mobile phone. He takes his mobile and throws it into the street, where it gets hit by a car and shatters into pieces. Nolan finds a note from Grace wanting to talk but then ignores it. The dog starts to pee on the house floor, and he carries it outside angrily. As he is about to go back to the house, the phone that was shattered rings again, and he goes to pick it up. He then redials the same number from his house phone to hear someone calling him for a job. He is given an address to go to and drives there as soon as possible. On arriving, the view is strange, it looks like an abandoned building. As he walks to enter it, one of his feet steps into a huge pothole, making almost half of his pant legs wet. He continues to be angry at God and sarcastically thanks him for the small accident. He enters the building and finds a janitor mopping the floor, who directs him to his required room and level. In there, he meets the same man who is also the janitor, telling him that the elevator does not work and to use the stairs. The same man then changes his outfit into a white suit and introduces himself as God. Bruce laughs, thinking that he is trying to play games with him out of desperation. When Nolan tries to ask him things without him seeing, God gets it right and even makes him see himself having 7 fingers on one hand. Furthermore, God shows Bruce a drawer containing files with everything about his life. He still does not believe that it is God and runs out, leaving God. But everything he experiences makes him seem insane. He goes to a hotel and requests a coffee. At the hotel, he starts noticing himself having unusual powers to do things before God comes to him once again to explain everything. God and Bruce take a walk as he is told that he has been granted God's power to do anything he pleases with it. But he has to follow 2 rules. He is told not to tell anyone that he is God or mess with anyone's free will. God takes a vacation, leaving Bruce all-powerful. Feeling powerful, Nolan tries all kinds of things for fun, including getting back at the guys who beat him up. He also makes his wife want him more and even trains his dog to pee in the toilet. Bruce takes his job back by making headlines and using his power to be successful, causing stories to happen. He also jeopardizes Evan's job, making him be demoted and him getting the position. While at dinner with Grace, who thinks she is being proposed to, she is revealed that the big night was to tell her that he got the anchor job. She is disappointed, although not showing it. Bruce starts hearing noises in his head of people's prayers. He doesn't understand them at first until God explains to him while they are on top of Mount Everest for a few minutes. He is asked about helping others and answers that he needed to correct a few wrongs in his life before helping others. At home, he tries to figure out how to listen to prayers without noises. After a few trials, he uses the computer to download all prayers. He answers yes to all of them without even knowing what it was all about. At his party that made him an anchor, he reaches out to Grace to come to the party by magically giving her signs. But when she finally comes, she finds Bruce kissing his colleague. He tries to beg her for forgiveness, but she does not listen and leaves him. Away from Bruce, Grace starts seeing all these signs that she should be with Bruce. He even tries to talk to her at work, but he knows that he is not allowed to mess with free will. His time to go live comes, and excited as he is, things do not go so well. God messes with the setting, news, and even lights. People outside start going crazy, destroying everything when he realizes that he has messed up. His poster is even burnt in the process of the commotion. Bruce goes to look for God at the initial address, and he appears to him as a janitor. He is advised to actually try helping people, as everyone has different needs. They mop the floor as he is advised on what to do and what not to do, and God leaves again. He goes back home and finishes the photo album that Grace wanted them to do together. Bruce starts helping people physically, gives Evan his position back, and takes his old one once again in full appreciation. He tries to train his dog to pee outside. As soon as he is successful with dog training, Grace sends her sister to go to the house and pick up her things. Bruce gives Grace's sister the photo album he finished by himself, and before leaving, she tells him that all Grace does is pray, mostly for Bruce. He goes to his computer to check her prayers, and there are so many, most of them asking for help for Bruce. Right on time, Grace is praying, but this time, to stop loving Bruce and to be able to let him go as it hurts her a lot. He is devastated as he is not able to get her back. He kneels at the highway, devastated by losing everything when he is hit by a truck and wakes up in heaven with God. God gives Bruce his bracelet back and asks him to pray, but he tries a little bit. Bruce is asked to pray for what he really cares about, not in general. He is also asked if he wants Grace back, but this time, he overcomes his selfishness and prays for Grace to find a good person who will love, see, and appreciate her just as she is. God then sends Nolan back to Earth as he gains a pulse in consciousness. At the hospital, Grace comes to check up on him, and he can see that her concern is genuine, and they both love each other. They finally get back together as Bruce goes to his old job advertising large cookies, and he does it in full appreciation, even introducing Grace as the future Mrs. Nolan. The story ends when they both get what they need. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.